Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. Got a special guest, hopefully a new regular for my Cowboys videos. None other than former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, Jimmy Johnson, aka one of my best friends in life.
Never
What's
heard that
good,
one.
Jimmy? How you
Yeah.
doing, brother?
Good, good. Thanks for letting me join. Talk some
Absolutely, man.
Cowboys.
Absolutely. In all seriousness, I think I've told people before, and we teased it on the live we did with Brother Tran when he came back. Jim was actually the person that introduced Tran and myself many, many years ago. We're both big, big San Antonio Spurs fans. So just over the years, we've always been boys and in the group chat and everything. So excited to have him on. I'm gonna let Jim give his background in a second. But first off, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Just go ahead and do that right now. If you've already subscribed, hit the notification bell. All the latest updates, what's going on the channel. Been doing a lot of cool stuff this week. Those of you who are my Texas fans, we did a really cool Texas Spaces with like everybody that's on YouTube for Texas, contents live, all things, coming forward. We're ramping up on Cowboys as we get into the playoffs. That's why I'm excited to talk to Jim here. And while you guys are out there betting, no better person to bet with than BUSR, BUSR.com/fanatic. Go ahead. Our current promo code is sports100FP, 100% free play match on all deposits. Go ahead and get your bets in. 18 up this weekend. Some of y'all feeling really sure with some of these teams possibly resting folks. Go ahead and take advantage. The official sports book, the official betting partner of Fanatic Perspective. Jimmy Johnson.
Yes, sir.
Up,
man, I'm actually headed to California tomorrow. I've got a neighbor who is a big, big 49ers fan. They're scraping by. They're praying New Orleans doesn't win tomorrow. I can't remember if I'm pretty sure if New Orleans win and they lose, they're out, right? So they're like hanging by a thread. He also thinks that the Cowboys are going to be the easiest win for them if we get a matchup with them. So we've been talking a lot of noise. But he asked me to join him to California. So I was just like, hey, I got a chance to go to SoFi. I got a chance to see the Rams. Weather's going to be nice, 65 at kick, I think. So we're headed to Inglewood,
Dope.
It'll be fun.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, those are some of those bucket list things because SoFi, all the controversy right now with, the Super Bowl potentially moving to Arlington, where I'm at currently, and home of the Dallas Cowboys. So real interesting to go check that out in the last week of the season, man.
Yeah, the Cowboys aren't scared to keep their doors open if there's a little pandemic going on. So they're going to have a Super Bowl regardless. It may not be the Cowboys, but they're going to have a Super Bowl. They're not scared to do it. So
welcome to Texas. Welcome to Texas, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to kind of just get into some general talk. I mean, we know we have the Eagles coming up on Saturday, and as of this recording, both teams again getting hit hard with COVID. Jimmy, as you're traveling out there, please be safe, and everybody out there that is moving around in all seriousness. But the game right now, we're in a weird spot, man. With the standings and just kind of everything going on. So I rather kind of, and we'll touch on the game and whatnot, but I wanted to. There's been a lot of talk in the media when we lost that game to the Cardinals, and I felt like going into that Cardinals game, we were in a lose-lose situation. What I mean by that, if the narrative was Cowboys don't beat good teams. So if we don't beat the Cardinals, then you get to prop up that said narrative. If we had beaten the Cardinals, well, the Cardinals, are they a good team now? They had lost 3 straight. We could have been their 4th straight loss. Like, I really felt like in that situation, Cowboys haters and just people in general, there was so much ammunition there, regardless of the outcome of the game.
Sure.
What say you just about all the nonsense? Like, when did it become bad to dominate your division? When did that become a thing?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of bad divisions in the NFL right now. Not only that, but I can't remember the last time I've watched an NFL season and just said, I literally can't pick a team to be a dominant favorite. I mean, you can maybe say Green Bay, but we'll see, right? I think the biggest factor with Green Bay is their home field advantage, right? I know as a Cowboys fan, I do not want to go to Green Bay. Obviously, if we get there, we're going to have to because we're not going to get the 1 seed, obviously. So That's probably my the one I don't want to see, right? I'm hoping somebody bounces them early. But I mean, the narrative all year long, right? You can't pick your schedule, right? Like, we can't help the fact we're in the NFC East. And frankly, over the last 20 years, it's not like we've dominated the NFC East. So we've had our struggles, and that's a part of the narrative that we have, that we can never win games in December, right? Which I know you mentioned before, 4-0 this year, right? That was something that Tony Romo was terrible at. It's like we're hot in November, we're kicking butt on Thanksgiving, and then here comes December, and we can't do anything. And I think that might have to do with cold weather. So, Cowboys Stadium's great, but it's also heated and cooled, right? So when we go play these games in frigid temps, like we are tomorrow in Philly, or I should say Sunday or Saturday. Now it's Saturday.
Saturday night, they flexed
Saturday night in Philly, I think the temp's supposed to be like 20 or 30 degrees, right? So we're going to get a little preview of what the Cowboys of this year, 2021, are going to look like in frigid temperatures. So I think it's, it doesn't matter, man. There's really bad teams in this league. We went toe to toe with the best ones. We didn't play our best game against KC. That's one that sticks to my mind. We didn't play our best game against Arizona, and I think that leaves the door open for us to, if we bring it in and play, above average at best, and they come with that same game they brought the other night, we're gonna win. So, and we're gonna be at home again. So they got to do it twice on the road. Like, it's really hard to win multiple games in this league against the same opponent. You watch the tape, you're going to get 2 home games. I like us getting a W against Arizona. So I would say I would hope to see them in the playoffs if we get the opportunity. Let's do them first.
Yeah, I mean, with the Green Bay thing, I want to start there. I agree with you in terms of what can you count on week to week, no dominant teams, totally agree. With that being said, to me, as a big, not just a Cowboys fan, as an NFL fan, it's now or never for Green Bay, in my opinion. I believe they're the first NFL team to win 13 games in 3 straight seasons. That's pretty good, right?
Yep.
And for them to not even have made a Super Bowl yet. Now, this year, outstanding, of course. But
sure.
The pressure to me, because I'm gonna segue into why I'm mentioning Green Bay first. Yep. The pressure to me is on Green Bay.
Yep.
You're gonna have Aaron Rodgers win back-to-back MVP. However, some of these ridiculous voters and all the type of stuff, whether he's vaccinated or unvaccinated, whatever, he's going to win MVP.
Yeah.
Just, the people that were real candidates either got hurt or fell off. 3 seasons, 13 games in a row. The home field advantage. You have all these things. Matt LaFleur is one of the best bright young coaches. Honestly, off to one of the greatest starts in NFL history, right?
Yep.
Because they have all these things going in their favor. And then you factor in home field, which I just mentioned. Here's the thing, though. They got their doors blown off by a San Francisco team in the NFC Championship game, a game which Jimmy Garoppolo was the opposing quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
Last year, they lost on their home field to Tampa Bay. Granted, Brady, we already know GOAT Brady comes in there. Respect to the GOAT. But they're a warm weather team coming. Tampa Bay ain't supposed to go to Green Bay and win that game, especially the path that Tampa Bay had to go down.
Yep.
Facing a tough Washington team. Then they had to go and beat Drew Brees in the Dome in New Orleans. Yep. Then they had to go to Green Bay, and they lose.
Yep.
So then you have the Aaron Rodgers drama in the offseason. It's time for Green Bay to get it done. Yep. I don't understand this pressure of, if the Cowboys don't win the Super Bowl, then it's like Super Bowl or bust. When the expectation coming into the season was we were going to be an 8-8 football team. We don't know what to get from Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
We don't know. People
Injury.
On TV, you just said it. We have the receipts, bro.
Yep.
People picking the Giants to win the NFC East. People picking
Eagles.
Washington.
Yep.
People are questioning Dan Quinn. People are questioning Mike McCarthy. All of these things were questions before the season started.
And to be fair, the defense was statistically the worst defense I've probably ever seen in pro football last year. I mean, they were just
god awful.
It was so bad. So, I mean, I don't think any analyst could seriously look at that defense, especially the personnel we had, insert Micah Parsons in a couple corners and say, oh, yeah, they're going to be great next year. Now, I mean, nobody saw that coming, to be fair. But I think the Cowboys and the Packers are in unique situations. The Packers, you're right. There's no Russell Wilson standing in his way either, by the way. Right? Russell seems to have Aaron's Rodgers or a number every once in a while. So Russell's out of the picture. So I think the Packers have their path paved. Right? They've got the home field. They've got all of the distractions aside. I think the COVID stuff and the vac card and his fake vaccination or whatever you want to call it is put to bed at this point, right? So
he was immunized, Jim.
Right, whatever, yeah, ivermectin, whatever. But yeah, the other part of it is I'm looking at the NFC and the quote unquote favorites. I mean, look at let's start at the bottom. The 49ers, right? Jimmy G's hurt, right? So Trey Lance, is he going to get done? No, he's not. If Trey Lance starts a playoff game,
Trey area, you're out on.
I'm off that wagon. Like they're done, right? If Jimmy G starts even moderately hurt, I'll give him a shot, right? But Green Bay is looking pretty healthy, assuming let's throw COVID aside, assuming nobody's gone for COVID reasons, right? But Tampa, man, all the drama they got going on there. Mike Evans has got a hammy. Godwin's gone. Gronk has always got something, right? Fournette is hurt
versus BA.
I mean, they are just dismantled, right? But it's still Tom Brady, right? So you never bet against TB12, right? So, but I mean, all of these teams, the only teams that really, in my eyes, are not necessarily peaking at the right time, but with the COVID situation, they're healthy at the right time, is the Packers and Cowboys, right? And as long as those two teams handle their business, there's no reason why we shouldn't be playing in the NFC title game this year.
Here's the thing, though. If we stay at 4, we're going to play them in the divisional round, assuming.
True.
So, but here's the thing. I know you said you didn't want to match up against the Packers. We can get into who we want, who we don't want. I just feel like destiny, for the Cowboys' sake, for us to get past this curse or whatever the hell is over this franchise, we almost have to go there and just do it.
Especially after the Dez Bryant incident and the catch. I mean, there's no better satisfaction than to go there and do it.
Who's our head coach?
Right.
They have a lot of narrative there still in Lambeau Field called Mike McCarthy Way. Like, yeah, like the Aaron Rodgers history between Mike and Aaron. The Dez caught it, the whole thing, the 2016 playoff game.
Yeah,
I feel like
I was there. By the way, I was at that game. Horrible.
Ugh. Sorry,
horrible
I
walk
apologize
home.
for bringing the bad memory up. But I mean, just destiny is, and I hate saying that in this context. It's not really data driven, but it feels like psychologically like that's where we're headed. But I'm gonna say I do, and I said this on the last video. I appreciate us being underdogs more than I do like us as favorites because we just are not emotionally mature enough.
Agreed.
As favorites. But I like it was somebody I was listening to. It was Mike Lombardi. Mike Lombardi said it today. In the playoffs, you don't have to be the best team. You just have to play the best game that day, period.
Yeah.
That's what this is about. It's not because I mean, Tampa Bay wasn't the best team last year.
Right.
They got, like you said, they got hot, healthy, right time.
Well, and here's my number one. Here's my number one worry as a Cowboys fan. Okay.
Please.
I would say it's not the best team. I'd take it a step further. I'd say it's the team that executes best. What worries me about that is I'm pretty sure we lead the league in penalties for whatever reason. A lot of those are PIs. But if we're going to win multiple playoff games and get it to the Super Bowl, we have got to quit stupid penalties, right? And we can blame the refs all we want. I don't like that. I've never been a fan of blaming the refs unless you are, I don't know, New Orleans and that Minnesota game? That game, that's a whole different deal. That deserves a challengeable situation for stuff like that.
And the Rams, the one with the Rams playoff game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, on the Cowboys, I was also at the game where we played the Lions, and there was a questionable pass interference flag that was picked up that led to the Lions losing. I was at that game too, so I've been on both sides of that. I do think they should be able to challenge those calls. But that being said, I'm not gonna sit here and go, man, we lost the game against the Cardinals because of the referees when we had 85 yards in penalties. That's just unacceptable. Like, you can't be a premier top 3 team in this league, putting 100 penalty yards on the board week over week. Like, that's just not going to work. So, that's the thing that worries me. A lot of people are going to point at the coaches and say, "Oh, I want Kellen Moore to be more creative and all these things." But like for me, it's just get out of your own way, man. Pay attention to when the ball moves. Don't go off sides. Don't make stupid PIs. All that stuff. So we'll see if they can get there.
I mean, Thanksgiving we lose. I mean, I had people arguing with me about it, but Anthony Brown has the pass interference in overtime with Derek Carr and them, and we lose on a field goal. And I'm with you in terms of penalties and overall execution. This is something, that's why I talk about the maturity with this team. And, I will give Mike McCarthy here credit from a standpoint of the team seems to be up every single week, at least energy-wise. I don't see them too often come out flat and not looking like they want to play or anything
like
that.
Not a Jason Garrett team.
No, I don't see that. I think where we get critical of Mike and we have our concerns is the game management aspect of things. And even going a little bit even further than timeouts, but also personnel. And that goes with Kellen Moore in this offense, trying to wake up this offense, right? And utilization of certain weapons. Where's the motion? Where's, the two back sets with Zeke and Tony Pollard? That's come up a lot today on Twitter. And I agree with all of it. Trying to make things a little bit more quarterback friendly, if you will, because I will say this, I'm a huge Dak Prescott fan. I want to talk about Dak a little bit. I'm a huge Dak Prescott fan. He's my favorite player in the NFL, and I appreciate where he's come from. You actually sent me a text the other day about comparing him and Josh Allen because they're the $40 million quarterbacks right now. And their numbers are very, very comparable. Josh has more interceptions, and Dak's played one less game because he missed the start. But Bills fans, they don't have any issues with Josh Allen, and we seem to pick holes at Dak, and every throw he misses, we go straight to his salary and things of that sort. And it's interesting because Jerry Jones made a comment today and said that he is very, very pleased with Dak Prescott and the investment that they made. And I thought Joy Taylor made a very, prudent point on their channel today in terms of she addressed it was like, if you had told Jerry that they'd go 11-5, the quarterback would recover from injury and have
another injury up. A second injury
with the 32 touchdown, 10 interception ratio. If those are the things I told you up front when you gave him the money, wouldn't you take that?
Like, and being on Hard Knocks is always a curse. So that team is.
You're gonna have both Hard Knocks teams potentially make the playoffs too.
Carson Wentz. Where are all the Eagles fans on Carson Wentz? Man, they done disappeared, didn't they? I mean, say what you want. We don't have to go down that rat hole, but man, Carson Wentz, I mean, that team was dead to rights, and he came in and is doing it, So
no, I just wanted to kind of get into that the thing though, because I think there's a Mike Dax, and I'm gonna say this about Cowboys fans because we're having a family meeting right now. We've got to stop the microscopic stuff with each throw. It's getting out of hand. And I think that's the case because a lot of Cowboys fans only watch in terms of snap for snap. They only watch Cowboys games. But if you're watching, me and you, we're all over the place. We watch the whole league. We're watching everybody throw the football. And when you watch everybody throw and you're not just paying attention to fantasy football stats. And you're not just paying attention to highlights on YouTube or what you see on, NFL primetime, you'll see the good, the bad, the ugly of all the quarterbacks. And so, but when I'm judging somebody throw for throw and I'm comparing it against stats and highlights, there seems to be a disconnect with how the quarterback is performing versus his peers. And that's where my frustration comes in because I don't think even us as a fan base appreciate or grades him appropriately, in my opinion.
The only thing I'll say about Dak is, I think he's 100% capable. I think Joy Taylor is, not to mention her again, but I know she's a big Dak lover. She's also said that, man, I think one of the quotes I heard this week from her that is true. I mean, Out of all the quarterbacks that have made the Super Bowl that are just trash quarterbacks, like Dak Prescott has enough ability to get to the Super Bowl, right? If you want to blame his contract on the reason why we don't, that's fine. But at the end of the day, that's the market, right? The market is going to dictate players, and they're going to leave if you don't pay them. So, if you want to go down the rat hole of players that that probably shouldn't have got large contracts, I'm going to point at Zeke before I'm going to point at Dak. That's just me. That is a very unpopular opinion. I don't think a lot of people agree with me on that one, but it's one of those ones where if you go back and look at that contract when he got it, the shelf life of running backs in this league, we saw it with DeMarco Murray. Man, we run him into the ground. He leaves for a free agency where we chose not to pay him. A lot of teams were and analysts, right, were saying that it was the dumbest thing ever to let him go. And where is he at now, right? He might have had one good year after that, and good loosely. He wasn't 1,700 yards good. It was like, right out of
one more 1,200-yard year with the
1,200 yards. Yeah. So not statistically like leading the league, but like a respectable season. But, we wore him down, right? And, I just got worried about this, best O-line in the league, giving it to Zeke over and over and over, 30 times a game, whatever, even 25 a game. Giving all that kinds of money to a running back in this league where Tony Pollard has shown his flashes this year and even last year too. That's the one I'm a little more hesitant on it contract wise. But
so we're gonna get early here with the hot takes.
Yeah,
I agree with you, but I don't want to agree with you because when I look at Ezekiel Elliott, he does everything well except for running the football at this point.
Yeah.
To me, he's probably top 5 pass blocking running backs in the league. That's a very difficult thing.
Yep.
Football IQ, excellent. Catching the football. I know he had a drop this past week, but that's probably the first drop I saw him really have this year. He does all those things. Good teammate. Holds other guys accountable. The issues that he plays injured.
Yeah.
So that's good for your culture. I know the AB stuff is bringing up some culture issues in the NFL, but Zeke, the team I think at some points has wanted to sit Zeke, and he's like, no, I'm going to play football. Even this week, I think he was asked about playing in the Eagles game. He's like, no, I'm going to play football. That's what I do. I think that's almost hurt him though, because when I watch holes that open up, and this isn't to me just a Zeke issue. This is also, you talked about the offensive line and the narrative of Cowboys got the best offensive line in football, blah, 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 blah. If you're saying that, you're not paying attention.
No.
Okay.
Every publication puts that crap out too. I looked at one 20 minutes ago that was talking about the number one offensive line in the league is still the Cowboys because they have Lyle Collins, Zach Martin, and Tyron Smith. And I'm like, all 3 of those guys can't stay healthy. So it doesn't matter if you got those guys. If they're not on the field, you don't have the number one offensive line, because guess what you have behind them? Unproven guards playing tackle. And that's not going to win you anything. So, yeah, it's definitely a annoying
thing that keeps coming up.
It just keeps coming up. We're living in the past, right? We get accused as Cowboys fans of living in the past. But when's the last time you watched this offensive line? I mean, Zach Martin is a beast. Or not Zach. Yeah, Zach Martin.
Yeah, Zach Martin is still one of the best players.
Zach Martin is still one of the best players in the entire league, hands down, best right guard probably in the league. But outside of that, Lyle Collins is a shell of himself. He's trying to bribe people to stay on the field with this COVID stuff. I mean, it's just they're dysfunctional. Tyron Smith is hurt every other game. He's out there playing hurt. I don't care what anybody says. He's not healthy at all. I'm getting to the point with him now, and this is another hot take. I'm good with Inseki or somebody else, Steele at left tackle, right? Like, I mean, it's not ideal, but I know I at least have a healthy player on the field, and sometimes that's better than somebody that's just going to be a shell of themselves, continuing to play on and not knowing when to stop.
That's where it hurts again, Jimmy, because it's like, you're talking, I mean, Tyron Smith, you're talking about a borderline Hall of Famer, right? Like at his peak, he's, at a certain time, his best left tackle in football. And the thing with him is we got him when he was so young. We drafted him
20 years old.
20 years old. but that's a lot of wear and tear on the
That's a lot.
body over time, and the body has continued to break down on them to the point where it's like we just pray that we'll have them for however long our playoff run. Hopefully, we have a playoff run.
Yeah.
And but going back to even the Zeke thing, it's not that I hate Zeke or anything like that. It's the lack of burst. Football has also changed. It is a space game now. It's not the Jerome Bettis days where you got the fullback in there and we're playing power football. And also the Cowboys aren't built that way anymore.
When's the last time you seen Zeke hurdle somebody? Been a minute.
Well, that's why I said Troy Aikman saying he's a home run hitter last week. I'm like, Troy, get whatever drink you have out of the booth, please.
Yeah.
Knock it off.
And every time he goes to pick up his spoon to feed himself, they say, "Oh, there's a flag back there. It's a hold. Come on back." So
yeah,
he's done this, which is another thing, right? Like if you, I was actually looking at situational splits with him this year, especially. He hasn't received very many touches, period. It's almost like, back to the coaching staff, like you're saying, it's almost like they abandoned the run way too often this year, right? Which I think in turn leads to inflated stats for Dak. It leads to more situations where Dak is blamed for a loss because he's having to throw his way back into games, or be what Tony was to us as well. Tony had no defense, had for most of his career no running game. He had DeMarco Murray for a couple of years. But I mean, Julius Jones, Marion Barber. I mean, he had average at best. We even stole what's his name from the Redskins on the back end of his career just to kind of save face. But anyways, it's one of those things where I'm looking at his situational stats, right? So he's done 156 attempts this year on the first 10 carries. Okay. That's 599 yards at 3.8 average. Okay. So you can blame him on that. You can blame the offensive line on that. I probably would blame both. But that being said,
it's both.
In games where he had 10 to 20 carries, he's only had 62 attempts. So what does that tell you? That tells you that we are abandoning the run heavily for a variety of reasons. Either it's not effective, we're playing from behind, all those kinds of things. The interesting thing, though, is when he's given 20 carries, his average goes up to 4.9 a carry, which is significantly larger, a whole yard further. So I think that tells you, if you stick to the run and don't be so, I think we're, as Cowboys fans, we haven't had a defense good or even remotely good in so long that we're so used to just pulling the plug on the run. If we can run it down their throats, we'll do it. But as soon as we play these teams like the Rams or maybe even the Niners or Arizona, like these teams that are big up front are going to pose big challenges. And then you got Dak having to throw his way into those games. And if you're asking me if I think Dak Prescott is Aaron Rodgers or Drew Brees or Tom Brady, he's not that guy, right? I will be the first to admit that. He's good enough to be an above average quarterback in this league and win the
second tier,
100%. But he's in
the second tier.
He needs not a great running game, but a running game that gets him 80 yards a game.
Well,
and we're getting 40.
You can't be last game. He led the team in rushing. That's not the formula for success, right?
Yeah, and it's dangerous.
So but see the run thing, right? It's interesting because you want to stick to it, but if it's so ineffective where it's causing you 3rd and 8s, because let's look at the Arizona game. People are like, Zeke had, I don't know what he had, 8 or 9 carries in that game, but half of those carries, I distinctly remember him getting hit in the backfield.
Yep.
Right? I'm not blaming the Arizona game on Zeke, by the way.
Yep.
My thing is I want to make 2 points with the run game. A, we're not diverse enough in what type of run plays we're doing.
Yeah.
For example, 49ers and what Kyle Shanahan does when they run the football, you notice no matter what running back he has, they're always effective because he has such a diverse running game. The Cowboys running game has never really been diverse, even going back to Jason Garrett. We've always been straight. It's always been based around our ability and our size, right?
Sure.
Not necessarily schematically. We don't, when we get people on the edge, we don't get outside. We don't run a whole lot of stretch. There's so many different run plays you can do and formations. When I watch the Eagles now, one of the things that the Eagles took off is some of the stuff they do with Jalen Hurts and their two running backs. They run so much triple option concepts.
Yeah.
So where they're getting guys out in space. Again, it's a space game. The Cowboys do none of that stuff.
No.
We're still stuck in 2015, I think, conceptually from a run game standpoint. Yeah. That's why I like whenever they do motion CeeDee Lamb back there, what's CeeDee Lamb's rushing stats? When they do some of that cool stuff, they always seem to get very good yardage. So
I would much rather than do that than bubble screen all day long, which is what we get in a,
That's
instead.
My second point. You don't have a good screen game. And you don't have a good screen game because you have too many people that struggle to block in space, which is why I was against from jump ever going to Connor McGovern from Connor Williams, because I knew Connor McGovern struggles to get to the second level. Well, you can't. If I put him in there, we can't run any type of screens.
Yeah.
Dalton Schultz, love him as a pass catcher. He's a great pass catcher. He can't block.
Yep.
So they run all these bubble screens, and he's supposed to be flexed out to block for CD or block for Amari, and we wonder why our shit almost gets picked off all the time.
Yeah.
He can't block.
Well, and they show it on tape every week too. So I mean, these guys on defense are waiting for it. We run another stat from Dak is I think he basically throws 6-yard routes, right? I blame that on Kellen. We know he can throw the ball down the field. He's done it before. He's done it in previous years. We run bubble screens. We run slant routes. We run drag routes. That's our offense. And again, you could blame that on the O-line because he doesn't have protection, maybe. But man, we're just too predictable. We've always been predictable, even with Jason Garrett. So I don't need to see trick plays. I don't need to see a ton of creativity. I just need to see routes that go down the field. The thing that worries me about Michael Gallup's injury is he is our deep threat, and he's our fly route guy, is what I call him. If you need a fly route and you need somebody to go up there and get it and put two feet down in the end zone, he's that dude. CD and Amari, not really those dudes. Like they can make spectacular catches like that, but I haven't seen it enough to go to feel good about hey, we need one catch. We need one of those.
It's third down. It's third and whatever. It's fourth and whatever.
Yeah.
They can do it. They can do it. They're just not. They're not.
Prove it though. They got to show me. Yeah.
They're not Michael Gallup in that regard. Now, I think part of the issue too is we're either deep or we're short in terms of our route combos, because we do run the deep route stuff. We don't see it because we either get sacked or the quarterback has to check it down because he doesn't have enough time or he feels as though he can't pull the trigger. Yep. I do think there are some times where there's some shots available, and this is where the coverages that people are playing against the Cowboys, people are getting really creative with coverages of confusing our quarterback, and he is getting confused, which is why the accuracy can drift. And this is something people are saying, oh, Kyler Murray's so accurate. Kyler Murray's accurate because he's always throwing to his first read. Because Cliff Kingsbury can scheme that guy open right away.
Or he's out of the pocket.
So he's always going to look. Dak Prescott he's clutching. You don't ever see him hit that back foot anymore. And he's like, you can tell when a quarterback sees it, right? And he's like, I got him. These guys are professional, dart throwers. The issue, though, is he's now gotten to the point, because Dak does want to take care of the football, where if he's questionable about it, he's not pulling the trigger. Yeah. And that's where, if we want to beat the Green Bays of the world and really make noise, we're going to have to get those throws to really threaten people. Because my biggest problem with the offense right now is we are not generating, these big plays.
Yeah.
Right? We have to matriculate our way down the field. And it's like driving a car, right? If you drive it long enough, something's going to break. And when you're trying to go 15 play drives all the time, 12 play drives all the time, well, guess what? You're going to get penalized. Something is going to happen that breaks your drive.
Yeah.
So we've got to figure out a way. That's why, you say you don't want trick plays. I liked some of the wrinkles that they do with Ced Wilson, at least to to get things going. And it doesn't have to be every quarter or anything like that, but we've got to see more.
Rumor on the street is that Kellen Moore's got a bunch of stuff he's hiding for the playoffs. So we'll see. I don't know if I believe that.
I'd rather be in rhythm.
Show me. I don't.
Yeah.
The annoying part too is it seems like the only time we get rhythm on offense is when we run hurry up, which is odd too. You'd think we'd have more penalties and stuff like that with that, but I mean, back to the concerns, right? O-line leading Zeke, getting those runs that we need to be not a one-dimensional offense. We need to have more consistent play there. Obviously, the penalties are a huge factor. Even with all the penalties in the Arizona game and all those things, we're still a field goal away. Which brings me to my last point. Zuerlein. I mean, geez, why is this dude still on our team? He must be married to the head coach's daughter or something. I don't know what's going on with this. I mean, I get it. Like, kickers miss field goals and all this jazz. But, like, we're talking about extra points. I mean, is it 5 extra points he's missed this year and, like, 6 field goals? I mean, you get, like, maybe 1 or 2 extra points a year pass from me. But, like, when you're missing 5 and 6
I've lost track of the numbers.
And this dude's supposed to be, like, known for his leg and clutch and all these things. I'm really concerned about a game-winning kick in Green Bay, right, where they've got Crosby and we've got Zuerlein, which, by the way, we call him Sirloin as our nickname for him. It's a little bit of a tough steak to swallow. But anyways, that dude, like, I'm like, come on, man, you got to make a kick that's clutch every once in a while. Now, it's weird because he'll make a 62-yarder, but if it's an extra point, good luck, coin flip. That's what it feels like. I might be overreacting, you tell me, but I feel like I'm a little nervous about the kicking game too.
I was up for firing Greg Zuerlein after the Tampa Bay game, and I'm not even joking. I was shaky on him coming into the season just from him having the surgery and all that. Yep. And I blame my buddy Landon. God bless you. Landon's been one of my Cowboys buddies on here. Well, I blame you, sir. I blame Landon because he was out here talking about, Greg Zuerlein should, my wife's out here trying to ruin the video. I'm sorry, guys. Greg Zuerlein's out here he's talking about, she distracted me, so I got to reset my thought.
She was just saying
Landon's out here talking about Greg Zuerlein is going to be okay and recover from the injury. We got to give him some time. So I went with it.
I gave him a pass. I did too.
I was like, okay, give him some time.
Yeah.
We wait week 18, man. He's still blowing kicks.
Yeah.
Where's Kai Forbath? He never missed a field goal.
And let's not forget too that my guy's kicking indoors. They're kicking indoors. We're not kicking in swirling winds. We're kicking extra points indoors. Like
it's Bones Fossil though. I mean, he came up with them with the Rams, and these guys have relationships. I get it. Don't let these relationships cost you your job. You got to separate the personal from the business. And it's frustrating because most of these other teams wouldn't tolerate that.
Yeah.
Unless it's like Green Bay, like the Mason Crosby thing, like he's been their guy for so long and they trust him to work through the mental.
Yeah.
This isn't even like a Dan Bailey thing. Excuse me.
Like if Tucker did that, you wouldn't cut him, like I get it.
Right. We let Tucker work through it.
Yeah.
And maybe that's how they feel about Greg Zuerlein. I don't feel that way.
I'm going to tell you right now that if we lose a playoff game because of our kicker,
but that's on the whole organization.
I know it's just frustrating because
that goes beyond the
Cowboys heartbreak that we are accustomed to. Right? It's not, it's a stupid penalty. It's a catch that should have been a catch or wasn't ruled a catch. It's a mistimed fumble here. It's a missed field goal there. It's giving up a 60-yard pass that leads to a game-winning field goal, like Jared, Jared Cook. I hope that we can get out of our own way again. I think that's going to be the biggest key. We have the talent, we have the scheme, we have the player personnel. We just got to get out of our own way. That's it. It's just that simple.
Agree. And the Cowboys, I mean, one of the reasons I'm not, the Philly thing is the same thing this week. If we lose to Philly, you can't beat a playoff team. If we beat Philly, yeah, you dominate the NFC East. So, and who knows who's going to be on the field come Saturday? I don't even know.
Philly's the more desperate team in this game. I'm not going to.
But they can't move. They can't move out of their spot.
Yeah,
so if
that's
you're
true,
Philly,
but it's a rivalry game. I mean, we'll see who they play, right? It's at home. It's cold. They're looking for
you could end up playing Gardner Minshew. I mean, we don't even know.
Yeah. We'll know by who they start, right? Like if they start their second tier guys, then we'll know we're just in for an exhibition. But if they come out there with Jalen and the whole crew trying to punch us in the mouth, our players aren't going to be trying to win this game. I really can't imagine it. Now, there's an opportunity for us to get that 3 seed and obviously an outside chance for the 2. I'm not holding my breath for that. But, I think personally the Cowboys should try to win this game because you never know what could happen. I mean, we've seen so much parity this year. I mean, Tampa Bay was on the ropes last week. I mean, golly, I can't believe they lost or they pulled that game out.
Now they could. Yeah, in Carolina, you never know. Divisional game. These are all divisional games in this weird ass week 18 that I don't like. And then, obviously the game you're going to, right? So it's a weird situation. Real quick, I prefer, honestly, the thing is I prefer to play Arizona. And at this point, I've made my peace with having to go to Green Bay in the divisional round.
Yeah, you got to go.
I've made my peace with it. But matchup wise, I'm with you. I don't like if we're going to play D+ football and lose by 3. I feel like in a playoff game with more prep, intensity, everybody just hungry, home playoff game.
Yeah,
I like the matchup personally. And so that BS that Vance Joseph's doing on defense, we've seen it now. The Buda Baker stuff, they got great players on that side. Isaiah Simmons, Buda Baker, no joke. But, hey, shout out to Taco Charlton, who we drafted over him, Buda Baker or TJ Watt. You see those guys play football, but,
Yeah. Well, and we would have had to pay TJ by now, but, we're close to it anyway. No, I mean, Arizona at home, again, like I said earlier, I like that. I'm a little, like, I really don't want to see the Rams. Like, we know that song and dance. Drew Stafford, that you never know who you're going to get with him. One game he's going to throw 3 picks. The next game he's going to be 14 of 14 to start.
According to Dan Orlovsky, there's no concern about him heading into the playoffs.
I mean, there's definitely concern, but my concern as a Cowboys fan is our defense, which we haven't talked a lot about. Our defense allows a lot of yards through the air. They're a little bit better this year. Well, they're a lot better this year on the ground, but I think they're like 12th in the league against the rush. Our interior defense is better, but I don't trust, playing the Rams defense with, our O-line like we were just talking about, and you got to deal with, their D-line. You got to do all of these D-lines, right? Tampa, them. Those are the ones I don't want to see. I'll take Arizona just because you got to play somebody, right? And I'm going to take somebody we just saw a couple weeks ago at home for a second time. I'm going to take that. But I don't want to see the Rams. I really don't. Like, it's not because I don't think we can beat them, but if I get to choose, like any of the bottom tiers underneath us, which we're not going to play, we're going to play that 4 or 5 or that, that kind of middle of the road, maybe the 49ers, maybe, somebody above them. But yeah, if I'm picking somebody, it's Arizona. I really don't want to see Tampa. I don't want to see the Rams, but I'll take Tampa over Aaron Rodgers if I get a choice, just because, they have so many injuries right now.
Tampa, I wouldn't mind. I mean, Tampa's not the same Tampa team we played even in week 1. Mm-hmm. And with Tampa, they're literally going to have to flip a switch.
Yep.
Literally, like it's not like last year where we saw them ramp into the play.
They were getting healthy last year at this point. They were not falling apart like this.
No. And I don't. And again, no one would even be talking about Tampa if it wasn't for TB12 and
Agreed.
Respect to him. That's literally what this is about. I do disagree with you in terms of the Rams, only because Matthew Stafford is shaky, and I don't see the same dominant run game that they had, a few years back with Gurley and Carl Winslow Jr. running the ball back there for Sean McVay.
Cam
Their run
Akers is
game
about to
hasn't
come
been as
back though,
dominant.
like right now.
Huh?
Cam Akers is about to come back like right now though. So we'll
what?
see.
So
well,
what?
I'm just saying. I
He
mean,
had a bad Achilles injury and hasn't played football all year.
Well, it depends on the focus of the run, right? I mean, we'll see if they can run. I'm not saying we can't contain it. I'm more worried about their defensive front when it comes to the Rams. So
they're formidable. The thing with the Rams, though, Tyler Huntley had no problem moving the football. They can run. You can run the ball in the Rams in a weird way. They're not I think a lot of people are still thinking about the Rams like when they still had Wade Phillips at DC and everything. And yeah, they got players like Jalen Ramsey's elite.
Yep.
Von Miller is playing better now. Aaron Donald's obviously elite. So I'm with you in terms of they got those big name killers.
Yeah.
But people have had no issue running the football on the Rams. That's why they struggle with the 49ers whenever they play them. So I would just tell my team, hey, Dak or Zeke, Tony, like we can control this football game and then play action off of that. We should be okay. The way the Ravens and all these other people are able to move the ball on them. My whole thing is
run the ball on the Rams front. You think that?
Huh?
You think we can run the ball on the Rams front with the running game you've seen from us this year?
We would have to be better schemed up for it.
Yeah.
We'd have to be better schemed up for it, but you're talking about a not great offense against a not great rushing defense. They're both weaknesses. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the teams that haven't been really great, we have been able to run the ball when we've stuck to it. I mean, they have the name power, like I said, at those three levels, but it's not the same unit collectively that we've seen in the past from them. And that's why they've been struggling.
I also wish we could just go play them on the road as opposed to go to Green Bay or because
that's a better situation.
Go to Arizona in their dome stadium or SoFi.
That's a better situation. See, Green Bay, let's talk about Green Bay real quick in our defense. Green Bay is built to play both ways because what LaFleur has built is their run game. Yeah. They now got a two-headed monster because in cold weather, who's going to want to tackle A.J. Dillon after they take out Aaron Jones? And then Aaron Rodgers, all he has to do, he's play actioning off of it. That's way more difficult to deal with in a bad weather situation.
With the best receiver in the league.
And you got the best receiver in the league. So, I mean, either way, the Cowboys got to deal with it now.
If Green Bay doesn't win the championship this year,
that's a fail.
I mean,
that's a fail.
Yeah, there's no other excuses. And it may honestly it may doom the end. It may be the end for Aaron Rodgers there because, for whatever reason, we'll see how it plays out and why they lose. If it's, but it's always something with him where it's not his fault or there's somebody else to blame. He can't blame Matt this time. He can't blame any of these guys anymore. The finger is pointed at Aaron Rodgers this year, and if he doesn't get it done, then that's it.
And that's us being realistic Cowboys fans, because I know some other people will get on here and say we expect this team, blah blah blah. Now I'll look, to me, if this team makes it to the NFC Championship game, everything after that is ice. I mean, I want to go on a run. I think this team is good enough. There's cheaper talent right now that won't be back next year because we will have to pay a lot of guys, especially on the defensive side of the ball. It's time to take advantage of it. The energy is there. Dan Quinn, you got all the coordinators in place. I feel as though when we've lost to Aaron Rodgers in the past, we haven't even had the talent to at least introduce doubt to him. At least now, we at least have the talent to introduce some doubt and at least try to force a turnover or take advantage of a big sack, get them on the ground. Couldn't do that before.
And we should be underdogs for most of these games. So I think that plays well in our hands too.
Yep. Jimmy, appreciate you coming on and just talking through. I mean, I know this was more of an open conversation and just us hashing things out. You'll be back next week to tell us about your trip to SoFi, and by then we'll know who we're playing in the playoffs.
Yeah,
So
no doubt.
just a straight up playoff
It's gonna
preview.
be an interesting weekend for games. I think there's gonna be a lot of movement, even though it doesn't seem like there might be. I think there's gonna be some upsets and hopefully some reseeding. We'll see what happens, but it'll be
Man,
fun.
like I said before, safe travels out there. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for coming on. You guys remember, hit the subscribe button, noties. Hit us in the comments with any of your thoughts, hot takes. If you think we're off base on Ezekiel Elliott, if you think we're being a little harsh on certain guys, if you think we're being too kind to Dak Prescott, I already know what y'all about to type. I know how y'all roll in the comments. Let us know. I appreciate the love and the support, whether we agree or disagree. And thank you to our sponsor, BUSR. BUSR.com/fanatic. Go there right now. College basketball right now. So a lot of you guys that are in the know, you guys are betting on Big 12 basketball right now. It's been absolutely incredible this year. Baylor's been rolling. Iowa State, Oklahoma's bounced back with Porter Moser, head coach. Texas is in the top 15. Bunch of good basketball plays right now. Prop bets, player prop bets. We were talking stats today. Jimmy broke out the situational splits. We'll have, hey, Jalen Hurts going to go for 40 or more rushing yards. You can bet the over, the under on there on BUSR. So I appreciate everybody on there. Take advantage of that Sports 100 FP promo. Jimmy, thank you again, brother. Go Cowboys.